Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, today's forecast, cloudy with a chance of zombies. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with ya. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including Resident Evil 7 sorta coming to Switch. And then on Thursday, we're going to be talking about demakes of modern games. But Mark, until then, before then, in the meantime, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great. Yeah. We're hot off the block here. We're ready to go. But before we get started with anything, we need you to do us a favor.
Please,
if you could rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, that helps us out tremendously. I think that's the only way people discover us, maybe by stuff being shared on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. But reviewing and rating the episodes helps us a ton.
and we had 3 heroes answer our call last week.
I was about to correct you and say American heroes, but I don't know that they're American. I assume. I'm making some assumptions here. So special thanks to Dude It's Elliot, Ashley Maria, and American Classic for leaving us great 5-star reviews. Not only does it help us be discovered, but it makes us feel good. Do you feel good, Mark?
I feel great.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, just people who left reviews in the U.S.
Yes.
podcast store.
So maybe they are American heroes.
Yeah, maybe they are
right.
American heroes. So if you're a Canadian hero or a French hero or a German hero or a hero of anywhere that is not the American podcast store, we can't see it, but thank you anyways.
Right. And you can, if you want to shoot us a little message and just be like, hey, I did that. You want credit. You want big ups from us.
Yeah.
Dude, it's Elliot, Ashley Maria, and American Classic. Big ups to all of you guys.
The biggest.
You can always just shoot us an email and be like, hey, I reviewed your show. No, you can't read it. And that's fine. Our email address is nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. And you can do that really with any concern you have. To wit, we got an email from a listener, Dustin. Dustin says, the title of this, I love this email, by the way. The title is Breath of the Wild. Wow! Dustin says, okay, clearly we're not actually friends, but after listening to probably 100 plus hours of your podcast over the past months, I'm not going to lie, it kind of feels like it sometimes. The internet is a weird place. I just finished Breath of the Wild, and considering I'm a man in my 30s with young children, this is shocking, I know, but I don't know any other people who have played this game. So, who better to tell than you guys that I was just blown away and can 100% concur with it topping your list of console Zelda games. Not that there was any doubt. I mean, it is definitive. That's him saying that, but I agree. Our list, in fact,
also agree.
is definitive. Just had to tell someone. Now I can finally move on to the currently long backlog of games I own, and I am sure I will love that were previously ignored. Okay, random email over. Thanks for the show. So first thing I just want to say, Dustin, I think we are friends.
Absolutely.
Look, anyone who sends us an email and listens to our show, it has always been my dream that this be like a dialogue of a podcast. So like, don't shy away from sending us emails. Anyone, we love it. Mark and I are both smiling right now.
And we never smile when we're recording this.
No,
usually it's big frowns.
We're stone-faced gargoyles just leering at each other for an hour.
Just daring each other to like make our day.
So yes, Dustin, always send us whatever. We love it. Breath of the Wild, Mark?
Yeah, it's great. It's so funny that this email came up after last week or 2 weeks ago, where for a moment I was convinced that we had put Link to the Past on the top of our definitive ranking, but that of course was wrong and stupid. Link to the Past is not the definitive best. Breath of the Wild is.
It is a great game.
Yeah, it's fine, whatever.
So you can send us your praise of other games or just to say hey to our email address, which is just nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com. Here's another thing that we need your help on, though. We are trying to determine which of all the Pokemon starters is the best starter. Mark, there are 7 generations of Pokemon.
It's so many generations.
So that's times 3, 21, and then there's the occasional like other one, We got to figure out if like Eevee fits into this because it's like the rival starts with it in yellow. I think we've bitten off more than we can chew.
That's why we need your help.
We need your help. So if you have a specific defense of a Pokemon, or if you want to, blow one up and be like, don't you dare.
Yeah, put it on blast.
Don't you dare pick the Fennekin. We need to know why.
We need help.
Nintendo Cartridge Society
at gmail.com.
All right, Mark, let's get into what we have been playing this week. So I picked up Banner Saga, which I've been playing not a ton of, but I have been playing a little bit of. I love the way this game, like the presentation of it. It is basically a Fire Emblem game, but with more. It looks and feels like the Rankin Bass Hobbit cartoon. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it's all like Norse mythology stuff, and I don't know. It's really neat. I am afraid with every decision I make or every fight I go into that like I'm going to lose something important or destroy a character that I'm supposed to fall in love with or something. But I'm enjoying it so far, and it runs very nice on Switch.
I've of course been playing Stardew Valley.
Of course.
I don't even know what to say about it at this point.
It's just life.
And then I beat the final boss in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. In funky mode.
Oh, so not in donkey mode?
Right, not in like the hard, like 2 hearts.
Yes.
Type mode where and I got all the Kongs in every level.
Really?
Yes, but again, funky mode, which makes it a lot easier because you can just throw yourself off the edge and get it, and it automatically saves.
Oh,
so,
sure.
like, you don't have to wait until you get to a checkpoint.
Right.
So it's like, how do I get here? Oh, yeah. I'm just going to, like, dive at it.
I just kill a monkey.
Yeah. But yeah, beat the final boss. The bosses in this game, not my favorite aspect.
Too long.
All of them are just a little bit too long. And so now I'm working on the K levels. So when you get Kong in every level in a world, then a special level opens up that's like super challenging or like more challenging. There's no checkpoints or anything. And then when you get all of those,
that's the worst kind of extra challenge.
Well,
no
here's
checkpoint?
the thing. I'm in funky mode.
Oh, right.
So I'm like, and I guess probably in regular mode they have this, but I'm like chugging down banana juice. I'm buying like green balloons like left and right. Like I don't know, it's more fun to me to not try to kill myself to get through these levels.
Yeah, yes. I mean that makes perfect sense. That like there's still like some sort of challenge, but like you don't have to beat your head against the wall to play Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Yeah. Man, I love funky mode.
Yeah.
I really do.
Helps everything.
It totally changed I mean, I had a ton of fun playing with you and I in co-op, but there were a lot of times where we were like just like doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting close and then just like having it fall apart, which is fun, but also
to a point.
It's
fun to a point.
Exactly.
So this is not Nintendo, but I have been playing a little bit of the Disney Afternoon collection on PlayStation.
It should be a Nintendo topic.
Unfortunately, it is not. But I just want to say that this is the first time I've ever actually beaten DuckTales. That rewind feature is clutch. Like that should be how you play, and the way it's implemented in that collection is so quick. Have you done any of the like rewind?
Not really.
On the Super
No,
NES
I
Classic?
forget that it's even an option or that it's there.
I forget that it's there too. It's sort of cumbersome, but on the Disney Afternoon collection, you just like hit the right trigger and like it starts to go back. Because the original games never use any trigger buttons. So like you can screw up and then like within a second you're back to the moment before you messed up. But so I actually beat DuckTales for the first time ever, and I felt really good about it, even though I was, cheating.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? It's fun.
It's fun.
It's just like funky mode. All right, Mark, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
I'm excited to report that I will have something new to talk about next week.
Oh, you
because
think so,
I am
huh?
actually going to pick something up this week. So today, May 22nd, you have Mega Man Legacy Collection 1 and 2 coming out.
Yeah.
Runner 3, SteamWorld Dig 2, the retail version. The game has been out on the eShop for a while. And then
if for some reason you're like a physical only person who's been like holding out, pick up SteamWorld Dig 2. It's a great game.
And then on May 24th, on the 3DS eShop is Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers.
That's the game you're going to pick up, I assume?
No. This is one of the titles that when it was announced, you're just kind of like, what?
Was
Dylan's a beloved like character?
I do not. Yeah, seeing the trailer for Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, I want to say it was in like a direct or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those mind-boggling things where we're like, I can't believe that they're still like actively pushing 3DS on us. I mean, I'm sort of okay with it, but like, it seems like a weird marketing choice. And then B, with like a character that nobody knows.
Right. At least bring Rusty back for like Real Deal Baseball 2.
Yeah, it should be Rusty's Real Deal Dead Heat Breakers.
Yeah, I would totally play that. That game was charming. This game, I'm sure, is charming in its own way.
Is this a Nintendo game, or is it?
It is a Nintendo game.
It is a Nintendo game.
Or Nintendo published, anyways.
So he can join the stable of weird Nintendo characters like the rabbit from the Badge Arcade.
Yeah, but I feel like that one's more beloved. Nobody knows its name. I do not understand how this game came to be.
Well, why don't you tell us the game you were actually talking about?
Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, the 8-bit Castlevania type game that is coming out from Inti Creates. It was like announced last week, and this week it's
coming
out
this week.
and
yeah.
I'm super excited. Definitely gonna be picking that up.
It was created as part of a stretch goal for Bloodstained. What's the actual? It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the full-fledged Bloodstained game, which is gonna have more modern graphics and whatever.
Right. It's like a PSX. It's like Symphony of the Night, and this
right.
is like Castlevania 2 or Castlevania 3.
3 probably better.
Probably 3. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Interesting thing about that was that Inti Creates was originally supposed to be the developer of the other Bloodstained game. Something happened. They like bowed out from doing it, but they're still the developer of the 8-bit version.
Way to go, Inti Creates.
And then May 25th, Pixel Junk Monsters 2. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yep. So obviously you're gonna pick up Bloodstained. I'm gonna pick up Bloodstained. I'm probably gonna grab some Mega Man Legacy Collection. I don't know which yet. I have the first one on 3DS. So I feel like I don't love kind of double dipping on that, but also, it's just going to be so much more enjoyable to play it either on my TV or, the larger Switch screen.
How are you feeling about this news of like the Best Buy Gamers Club being discontinued, as in like they're not doing renewals or new members?
Let's talk about this. So it's not something that we have in our news lineup, but I suppose we could have. The Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked, which I believe is what it's called, which allows you to buy video games for 20% off at Best Buy, is going away. You cannot be renewed, and new customers can't buy it. It's a bummer because I've been going with physical games in a lot of cases where I could have been, I could have made a decision either way. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm probably just gonna slide over to digital now when buying stuff new, just because the My Nintendo coins rewards are better if you buy digitally. And I've got enough storage on my Switch that there's no real reason to carry things forward physically.
It is a bummer. I've bought all my Switch games digitally from the beginning, and honestly, most of my 3DS games. But I don't know. It's Amazon had already started to like whittle away at its like pre-order,
yeah.
or it's like its incentives for buying or pre-ordering games. And
I mean, when you think about it, 20% off is crazy,
especially because what is the like 1 year upfront price?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
$25 or something.
It's
even then
negligible. Yeah. If you're gonna buy like 2 or 3 full price $60 games, like you're saving money. And, on Amazon, like, you just subscribe to Prime because you're a human being and you need to have things shipped to you sometimes. But yeah, so it's a bummer to see all of those like incentive things go away, but it sort of makes sense. Like it never, when someone says a $60 game, it's a $60 game. I'm like, meh, it's a $48 game.
They had to have been losing.
They must have been, yeah.
So much money on it because I think the margins on video games for retailers are very thin.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if at $48 they were making anything on them, especially for like a brand new release game. I bought God of War for $48 the day it came out, or like my Labo set. I got that for 20% off. Most amiibos that I've purchased in the last year or so, 20% off.
Yeah.
So like, it's
so it was games and gaming accessories.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So maybe that's, and not like consoles, but everything else. So they must have been like, oh, you know what, this is not sustainable.
Nobody's buying Amiibo and then also buying, or not enough people are buying Amiibo and then also buying like home theater equipment,
right,
to make it worthwhile.
Right. You don't go in for an Amiibo and you're like, you know what, I could use a new TV.
Yeah, from Magnolia.
All right, Mark, let's get out of the new releases. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, we are going to be talking about Harry Potter. And which book is our favorite in the series?
Yeah, let's try to keep our purview on that like specific task.
Yeah.
I feel like Harry Potter is ripe for future 433s. In fact, it's strange to me this is the first Harry Potter one that I can think of.
I don't know. It might not be. I am certain that we have repeated topics, and I don't care. So okay, your favorite Harry Potter book. How do you like? Do you put yourself in a time when you were reading them, or do you just try to, like, have you gone back and read these books at like multiple times?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like an initial gut reaction of what you think you're?
Goblet of Fire.
Goblet of Fire?
My go-to. Yes.
I think that's a very good answer, and I think I would say that too. But one of the hardest times I ever laughed was reading the Order of the Phoenix out loud with my brother. This was, if you'll indulge the story for a moment, we were at my parents' house for Christmas or something, Christmas or Thanksgiving, one of those. Neither of us were living in the house at the time, and we were like, let's hide in the basement and read a Harry Potter book. We'll just like switch off, reading out loud to each other. And there is something that happens on the Weasley farm where Hermione gets a black eye, and Mrs. Weasley is doing some sort of magic to try to fix this black eye, and J.K. Rowling is like, I'm going to use some figurative language here, and she says that Mrs. Weasley is trying to lessen Hermione's resemblance to half a panda. Which is the clumsiest metaphor I've ever heard in my life. Lessen her resemblance to half a panda. What
half?
It's that she has one black eye. That's half a panda in J.K. Rowling's eyes.
I see. Split right down the middle.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, vertically just in the face. That's a half a panda. So we were like literally rolling around on the ground laughing.
That's really funny. I imagine you and your brother reading that book to each other to just be like screaming at each other, because there's so much of that book is written in all caps and exclamation marks, because Harry's at his snottiest.
Yeah, that's what Harry's at his
like,
worst.
Oh, nobody understands me, and he's like, hey, you have so many friends and like supporting like family. He's total teenager.
Yeah,
J.K. Rowling like nailed it.
Yeah,
right. It's like, no, you have great friends and like everybody loves you, and he's like, oh, my life is terrible. You guys don't get it.
And his life is sort of terrible.
Sure. Yeah.
But I mean, normally I think that I would rank that as one of my least favorite books. but like I cannot describe to you like how much that made me laugh.
Could you imagine like if somebody had it like you knew like had a black eye and you're and that's the terminology you used to be like
whoa, someone's half a panda in here. It's just insane. I don't know how that like made it out of her brain. And then
onto the page.
And then an editor was like, this seems fine.
Right, yes.
or worse, the editor was like, let's
Like,
consider rewording this.
circled it, yeah.
And then JK was like, no. It stays in. So
You're writing these books on a deadline.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
true.
like there's
It's true.
Right. As long as you got like the periods in the right place.
Right.
You change those like mums to mom.
Yeah, perfect. And then you just got to make sure that there's like a nice little drawing at the beginning of every chapter, and you
Right. Bing, bing, boom.
Yeah, get it out.
How
the
come
door.
we're not publishing these books?
I don't know.
So
Defend Goblet of Fire.
You know, Goblet of Fire, it is missing some of the elements like from the earlier books that you really enjoy. Like there's no Quidditch or anything like that. But I think it does a really good job, and maybe it was the age where I was reading it, but just like of bridging the gap between the first 3 books, which are really fun, but are just like very short and very
They're episodic.
and they're like exactly. And Goblet of Fire is just a little bit more like involved. I don't even really know how to explain it. Like it expands the world in a fun way.
Absolutely.
It's a little it's a little bit more like it's great for like a teenager. You know, it's like a little bit more adult.
Well, and like it ends with full spoilers for all things Harry Potter here. But like it ends with Cedric Diggory, one of the characters you've been following around. Oh well, I guess
We'll never know. Not full spoilers.
Not full spoilers, only partial spoilers. We were accompanied today by the GVSU New Music Ensemble with guest violinist Todd Reynolds. So thank you for that, fellas. All right, Mark, let's get into the news.
Resident Evil 7 is coming to Switch. Kind of.
All right.
I mean, it is coming to Switch. It's okay. Over the weekend, Capcom announced that the cloud version of Resident Evil 7 would be playable in Japan starting May 24th.
Which is what? The Thursday, right?
Uh-huh. So it's free to play for the first 15 minutes, and then afterwards you pay $18 for, or the Japanese equivalent of $18 for a 180-day rental. Includes like all the DLC. It's the full game. The only catch is that you're streaming it
to your Switch.
Instead of like downloading it, and so an internet connection is required the entire time.
Yeah. So with that, I mean that means that it takes away one of the like key components of what makes the Switch so much fun is that this will not be something that you'll be able to play on the bus or on a flight unless I guess you're paying for the Wi-Fi and are connected that way.
And like the Wi-Fi super fast.
It's got to be super fast Wi-Fi. I mean,
usually they don't let you get online with those sorts of things.
Yeah, sure. Well, and I mean, I don't. Where are we with like game streaming technology? Are we to a place where like you can stream a AAA game like that over Wi-Fi and you're not going to have like technical issues? Or
I think if you have like a steady enough connection.
Here's the thing, the Nintendo Switch, not necessarily known for its steady internet connection.
No, the Wi-Fi, at least for me, is like not awesome.
Yeah. Likewise.
So it doesn't sound like this is it doesn't sound like this is going to come west. At least right now.
Okay.
Like the even though like all the localization is done, I think this is I would love if it comes west. Look, I have the PS4. I could buy Resident Evil 7 probably for fairly cheap at this point.
Right.
But I haven't. If it came to Switch here, even in cloud version, I would 100% do it.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Especially if, I mean, $18, like, that's, and what do I need the game after 180 days?
Right.
Interesting, outside of that 180-day time period, your save is also deleted too.
Oh, so you can't like re-up?
That's it. You get one 180-day rental of this game. And at the end of that time, they're just like, okay, you're done, and it's gone.
So I think this is a super interesting experiment.
Yes.
I will be very interested if this is successful because it's a really easy is not the right term because I'm sure it's technically very difficult and like involved, but it is a unique way to get around any like power restrictions the Switch would have.
Any technical limitations?
Any technical limitations, like we've heard that Final Fantasy 15 can't run in its non like mobile form or whatever, can't run on the Switch, but maybe you could stream it.
Yeah, I mean the streaming thing is really interesting because like the you could use the Vita, the PlayStation Vita, to stream any game that was on your PlayStation 3
and 4, I believe, yeah.
Which is crazy that it's it's a feature that it has. It's called Remote Play, so that the either PlayStation 3 or 4 itself is actually running the game. You're just seeing it on the Vita, and like the inputs are on the Vita.
Yeah, I remember doing trying to do the third raid in Destiny, in the original Destiny.
Yeah.
And
how'd that go?
I mean, I wasn't doing it on a Vita,
right.
But somebody in the group I was playing with they were at work streaming it onto their Vita, and so occasionally they'd be like, "Oh, my boss is coming," and have to like put it down.
Okay, so that was less of a technical limitation and more of just like you're at work, you shouldn't be playing games. So I mean, man, it would be so cool. Or I mean, maybe we are living in this future now where streaming games to underpowered platforms like is a reality and is like a functional reality. But I think we need to see it in action first.
So I feel like 6 years ago or so, maybe even longer at this point, like 7 or 8 years ago, there was a company that maybe eventually got bought by GameStop that was trying to be like the Netflix for video games.
You talking about Gaikai?
Maybe I am.
Gaikai was purchased by PlayStation
and
they implemented
now PlayStation Now.
Yeah, and that's how PlayStation Now is powered. I have heard that PlayStation Now has gotten like functional within the last couple years, but when it launched it was laggy, and so the way PlayStation Now works is that it basically is just streaming old games on your current PlayStation hardware.
Right, or like tablets and phones, right? Isn't that the idea? Or like PCs that you're able to do it
so,
like
yeah. And so I don't really know. I haven't had any real experience with it, just because like I don't know. I'm not like I'm not super into like twitchy games, but like I play fighting games and stuff, and I think anyone that's like warning you about like input lag or anything like that is gonna scare me away from like playing those sorts of games on those platforms. But like I play a ton of games. Any turn-based RPG or whatever. There are a million types of games that you could play on a streaming service that has like a little bit of lag without really any issue.
Well, and for a single-player game like Resident Evil 7, paying like $20 for 180 days, that's all I need.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this is dumb, I probably could have like signed up with GameFly or whatever, but like thinking about my experience with God of War, yeah, I don't need it for more than 180 days. I probably don't need it for more than 30 days. If there's a way to rent like this model makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know. Do you think that makes financial sense?
I think maybe it makes financial sense for something like this where the game is already out and already sold like 5 or like 7 million or like 5 million copies or whatever it's sold.
Yeah, I think you were right with 7 million.
And then so it's like, okay, they were able to recoup some of that cost, and now this is basically just like doing again, I don't know the details, but probably like a lower cost port than if they had to put in all the effort required to bring it to Switch for like running natively on the hardware.
So you have jumped to the conclusion that this is not going to come to the West. What points you to that? Does it just seem like too weird?
I think it's a little too weird. I think that it makes sense for Capcom to test this out or like to see how it works in like a smaller market like Japan. I think the thing that initially made me think that is that the only language option in the Japanese version is going to be Japanese, like English, or I guess I should say English is not an option.
That's the only thing.
So it seems like they don't want people going into, although it probably wouldn't matter that much. It seems like the gameplay for Resident Evil doesn't require a like language isn't really a barrier. So you could theoretically probably like
turn
use your like Japanese eShop account if you have one.
Right, because don't
to
forget
download
your Switch is region free, so there's no like Japanese software that you're not able to download.
But I
on
wonder
the
if
thing.
whatever client you have to download in order for this to run will like check your geolocation via IP.
Yeah, maybe.
And sure, you could like spoof it through a VPN or whatever, but that's just another layer that you're putting on a streaming game.
Right. Well, and I wonder if like you will then see performance issues. I'm going to say something that I think will reveal a little bit of just like technical ignorance, but like if you're streaming the game, then the computer that's running it has to physically be in some space somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so if they are right now trying to restrict it all to Japan and all the computers are in Japan, there is physically less distance for the data to travel from somewhere in Japan to somewhere else in Japan.
Right.
Versus if we're trying to stream it here across the ocean, that's necessarily going to like, things can only move at the speed of light.
And I think that's another reason to keep it contained to Japan as a test is because Japan, like you're saying, is just physically smaller.
Yeah.
And so if they host it in a single data center, right, it's not like the US where if you want things to be quick, you have to have multiple data centers and then send users to like the closest data center.
Right. So I mean, maybe this is something that they're testing, and we'll see more of stuff like this. We still don't. Do we know what the Nintendo Online program, if we're going to be streaming those Nintendo games, or if we're going to be downloading them onto our Switches?
I don't think we know the details of how that'll work. Like, will it be an icon on your home screen that you like click into and then the library is in there? Are you downloading each game individually?
Yeah, or are they
unknown?
Are they only playable online because they're all like upgraded with special online features?
Yeah,
right?
we don't know any of that yet.
So it's a weird, rich future, and we're just starting to see it like plop down in in little ways, but exciting ways, like here Resident Evil 7 is available, like at like the drop of a hat, like less than a week's notice.
So out of left field, and not even really something I had ever considered.
Yeah,
like getting a game like that, a game that otherwise might be hard to run on the Switch in its current form, and just like streaming it, like what a cool potential for the future.
Yeah, and I hope that there is. I hope that our reservations about the Switch's online capabilities are either unfounded, or that there's like some kind of firmware update that can like make the
or a hardware revision.
I mean, whatever. It's been over a year since I last bought a Switch.
We're suckers.
I'll buy another one.
Alolan Pokemon are coming to Pokemon Go in the coming weeks, according to a post from Niantic on the Pokemon Go website.
You want me to read this quote? From Niantic. This is from their website. Sunny days are ahead. Whether your forecast calls for rain or shine, we're celebrating all around the world by introducing some special Pokemon from the tropical Alola region to Pokemon Go. Get ready for some of the Pokemon originally discovered in the Kanto region to appear in their Alolan forms. So Pokemon get added to Pokemon Go kind of regularly, and we don't really comment on it because we've left Pokemon Go behind. But in light of last week Thursday's conversation about what the new Pokemon might be and its Go integration, I think it it's interesting to see even the most recent like forms of Pokemon appearing in Go. Like, I think it sort of lends more credence to the idea that all of this stuff is going to be wrapped up together, and we're going to get just one big package that is both Pokemon and Pokemon Go. And it's called Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Splatoon 2's first ever tournament-style Splatfest concluded over the weekend. The final round of the competition pitted Raph and Donnie of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles against each other. Donnie was victorious.
So congratulations, Donatello.
Yeah,
woo. Not who I would have picked.
No,
personally.
You were losers both times.
I was losers all three times.
You was losers.
I was losers. At every single turn,
Uh-huh.
I wanted Leo to win over Raph. I wanted Michelangelo to win over Donatello. And then when it came down to it, I wanted Raph to win over Donatello. I lost. I'm sorry. I don't know what you want from me. This is all I can give, Mark. This is it.
Were they the more popular choices
So
in each round?
I don't know about this round. I don't know what the breakdown was on this. But yes, they were the more popular choices.
That seems to be the kiss of death.
It does, yeah. Like the more popular turtle candidate always seems to lose.
Even though I didn't have an opportunity to participate in this, in like the 3 weeks of this tournament, I love this idea.
Oh yeah, I love it too. I hope that we continue to see stuff like this.
Yeah.
Or I mean, yeah, it would just be fun for them to continue to roll stuff out like that. If if they're introducing new Smash characters or something, and they're like this character or this character, and it's just like which one comes first, I feel like the sky is the limit here, and like Splatfest could be anything, and it could just be super fun.
And if they want to keep doing brand integration, like 7-Eleven versus AM/PM.
Look, we like that stuff. We want to be like, what's the better candy bar, a Twix or a Snickers?
DC versus Marvel.
Of course.
Because there's no like functional voice chat, so all the toxic stuff wouldn't.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
There is no toxic stuff. So Splatoon, save us from ourselves so we can debate things with ink.
Last week we talked about the Mario Tennis Aces pre-launch tournament being announced for Japan, and now we have like official dates and times for North America.
Wonderful.
So the tournament will start 6 p.m. Pacific time on Friday, June 1st, and wrap up midnight Sunday, June 3rd. You can start downloading the demo as early as this Thursday, May 24th.
When people in Japan are streaming Resident Evil 7.
Yeah. Oh, those lucky people. 4 playable characters will be available: Mario, Peach, Yoshi, and Bowser. Players will be able to earn points to unlock as many as 5 additional characters.
And we don't know what those 5 mystery
looks like it's just online multiplayer matches that will be available in this demo. No like story mode stuff.
Yeah, and that's fine. I guess also no like local like you won't be able to play against your friend, but maybe doubles. I don't know. It's not clear. But are you excited about this, Mark?
I love when they do demos for stuff like this because I don't know that I have any interest in buying the full game, but I love getting that taste.
Oh yeah, I love that taste. I think it's cool that it's the whole weekend.
Yeah.
It's not like an hour here, an hour there, which is what the Test Punch and test
splat test
shot shoot test.
Yeah,
it was like
so long ago.
Test. Yeah, no, it's just all weekend that they it's just open to everyone. I wonder if they have less of a need to do like those specific hour-long like stress tests. And they're just like, man, just get it in people's hands and let them play it.
Also, I guess like for a game like this, you don't have 8 people running around at the same time or something.
That's a pretty good point. Yeah,
it's just gonna be 1-on-1 or I guess maybe 2-on-2 matches.
Right, which would still be 4 people running around, but it's got to be less to process a tennis game than like a whole Splatoon map, right?
Right.
It
has to be.
Look, if the server's in Japan,
I refuse to believe otherwise.
All right,
so
perfect.
whether we're right or wrong, it doesn't matter to me. I've made up my mind.
I love it.
Okay, so if you took Patrick's advice and you're like, I'm going to purchase South Park: The Fractured Butthole, but I am not going to play it until a patch is released. Good news.
Sort of.
A patch has been submitted to Nintendo.
According to Ubisoft.
Uh-huh. What? Like,
I'm just allegedly.
Right. That's right. Ubisoft might be lying.
Right.
We don't know. We don't have any proof.
That's right.
But they said that they have submitted a patch and it's in for certification.
And this was last Thursday that they tweeted this.
So it maybe takes about 2 weeks for a patch to be certified and released. So hopefully pretty soon.
Hopefully just wait a little bit longer. It supposedly wipes out the like infinite loading glitch in one of the call girl missions and fixes a bunch of the other places where the game would either crash on you or try to delete your save. So all in all, a much improved experience, I'm sure, but wait till this thing is out in the wild before actually playing the game.
According to HAL Laboratory, the next update for Kirby Star Allies is coming sometime this summer. We don't know exactly what's going to be in it, but Dream Friends.
You think just Dream Friends?
No. I'm just saying we know there will be Dream
okay,
Friends,
I
but we
see.
don't know what the Dream Friends will be,
Mm.
or maybe there will be something else.
I would like to see new levels.
I would love to see some new mini games. I feel like the mini games,
the
or
mini- yes.
like the other games that were in the
Light
Star Allies were like not that great.
Light offering. The
Yes.
like the boss rush mode and like the sort of like level rush mode with like they were both fun. And especially like fun to do multiplayer. But like right on the heels of having like played the game, I didn't really want to go back and just play the game again, which is essentially what those boss rush modes are. But yeah, the other two mini games are really pretty slim. So yeah, it would be cool to see more modes. I know that the first set of Dream Friends like altered some of the levels to like incorporate the Dream Friends abilities.
Oh.
But I don't know. I don't feel like the experience of playing like any Kirby game is like the levels aren't so iconic that you're like, oh, there's a minute change to this one and I've noticed it immediately, you know? So I don't know. When more stuff comes to this game, I will be happy to go back into it and get some like 2-player going for a little while, or 3-player.
Yeah, we should try. I wonder what this game is like. Maybe when this comes out in the summer, we will do a revisit where we're playing with like 3 or 4 of us and see how that changes.
I love this. I think this is perfect. Yeah.
Finally, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 had a big reveal event last week, and developer Treyarch confirmed there are no plans for a Switch version. But I am still holding out hope
for
thinking that an unannounced, but so it hasn't been announced yet, but rumors for a while were hot that a Modern Warfare 2 remaster is coming this year, and that it is single player only, no multiplayer, which I feel like would balance very well with Black Ops 4 multiplayer only aspect. And maybe it'll come to Switch.
Okay, why?
Why do I think it will, or why do I hope it will?
I guess why do you think it will?
This game that
I guess
very well could not exist is
right.
going to come to Switch.
The hope makes sense to me because we hope most games come to Switch.
Right.
But why do you think it will? Just because Call of Duty games have come to Nintendo platforms even when they've been underpowered?
I think they yes.
Though not for a while, right?
Well, I mean, I think the last one was Black Ops 3 on the Wii U, or whatever game launched around the same time as the Wii U.
Is that like 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Probably like 12. When did
20 years ago?
6 years ago, maybe.
Sure.
Wait, have there been that many Call of Duty since then? I'm probably wrong, but anyways, it's been a long time. I feel like it's a low risk proposition for Activision.
Yeah, to just push this out on another platform.
Yeah, and since it's a remastered, like we've seen with like Dark Souls remastered, obviously maybe they have a separate team working on it.
Oh,
but
so you say it'll happen, it'll just be delayed.
Yeah, exactly.
Tilt aiming, you think?
Dare we dream?
Yeah. We dare dream.
And then I'm just as like another finally just like scanning the internet to see if like a Pokemon reveal has been announced or anything. No, okay, we're good. We're still topical for at least like another couple hours or weeks or whatever.
It is tough, Mark. The leading up to E3, the news is coming out hot and heavy, and anything could explode at any moment. But you know what? In the meantime, let's just get out of the news here. And that's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, please rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff on Apple Podcasts. If you like the episode, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. On Twitter, you can follow us. I am at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell. And collectively, we are at NinCart Society. You can check out the Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Come back next week, but the next episode on Thursday, we are going to be talking about demakes. So video games from the modern era that have been made in the style of older games.
Or could be.
Where it's gonna be a fun freewheeling conversation. We're gonna get some hypothetical stuff going on here. Mark and I are gonna be talking out our butts. If you like our opinions, you can listen to that, or you can also check out our reviews of comic books on retconpunch.com. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thanks for listening.
Campfire.